My parents laughed in my daughter's face and told her a dog could play piano better than her, so I told them to get the fudge out of my house, and that their relentless bullying is why I turned out to be how I am, not their great parenting. I had my parents over for dinner this weekend, 60s, and after my daughter, 10, asked if she could play us a song she had been practicing on her keyboard piano. She gets lessons. It wasn't perfect, few missed notes, a couple pauses, but she did really well. She looked up at the end, massive smile, and I started clapping and my parents started laughing. Not just a little chuckle. A massive belly laugh. Them both. My mom asked if it was her first time playing it and my dad said it had to have been. A dog could have played that better. It was like my daughter was shrinking on the spot and she looked down and said, "No, I've had 2 lessons but doing it with 2 hands is hard," and they just laughed even harder. I just stood up, took their cups and said, "Leave. Now." My mom tried to say about how they hadn't finished their drinks, they wanted to hear another song, etc., and said, "Get your stuff and get the fudge out of my house right now." My dad started doing this huffing thing he does when someone dares to speak up to him, and my mom said that there was no need to be like this. That I can't protect her all the time and she preparing my daughter for the real world. I said it's not teaching the real world, they're just nasty little bullies picking on children and stuff like this is why I was so messed up as kid. Now leave. They got their stuff and left. I sat with my daughter and explained how proud of her I was and how well she was doing. To ignore them. They were just being cruel because they don't know any other way to be, and asked if she could please play it again, which she did. On the Sunday I messaged and said that until they can behave like decent human beings that we're taking a break away from them. My dad replied that it was my choice but he didn't realize he raised me to be so precious. Now my lovely brown-nosing golden child of a sister is getting involved. She phoned me today with my parents' version of events telling me I was a nasty piece of work and should never speak to my parents that way. That I'm wrapping my child in cotton wool and blah blah blah. I just told her to go screw herself and hung up. I'm not asking if I'm in the wrong for standing up for my daughter. I'll always do that. But I did go pretty 0 to 100. I kicked them out straight away. I swore at them and in front of my daughter. I did raise my voice at the end when I said leave. I was and still am angry. I don't think I'd even accept an apology from them at this point. This behavior isn't new, it's decades old. But this is the first time it affected my daughter. Did I go too far? React too much? Should I have tried to be calmer? Talk it out? I dunno, am I the jerk? Edit, lots of people think I'm a mom. Nope, single dad. Also, thank you all for your comments. Definitely calming the anger I felt and making me feel less trash for the way I reacted. Edit 2, I really appreciate all the comments. Even the ones calling me Mama Bear lol. I never doubted I was in the right for standing up for my daughter. Just how I went about it. I'm gonna sit and talk with my daughter about it all either tomorrow after school or on the weekend. My parents and sister can just disappear for all I care. RN. To all the commenters that said they wish they had someone like me when they were younger, I get it, man. I really do. I hope you got someone now or are able to be that someone. Reading all these comments changed my anger into sadness/realization that I'm not alone with the garbage parents. Thanks for sharing and thanks for the comments, guys, even the trolls, you were great. Commenter. Not a jerk, you're a dang hero. If your parents think that's an acceptable way to talk to a child, they had it coming. Bullies always whine when the tables are turned. At most, you might want to talk to your daughter about how they've always been like this and a confrontation was bound to happen. She may blame herself, or wonder if you'll yell at her like that someday. Knowing there's a history would help her understand. At 10, she'll have encountered bullies already, but may not know they don't change when they grow up. Commenter 2. Not a jerk. If you still want a relationship with your sister, you might consider telling her what really happened. By her reaction, you will know if she is someone to keep in your life or not. Since you mentioned she only got your parents' version. Update. You can believe it's me or not, but this is the update. We cut contact with parents and sister. Parents kept messaging that I was being overprotective, didn't know how to raise a child. I should look at how well I've grown with how they raised me. Sister still thought I'm committing some massive crime by talking to my parents that way, not agreeing with them, etc. Been about 9 months since last messages. They've been blocked and any fam that messages about them has warning if they continue they'll be blocked. By Nan and Uncle Steve. Got my daughter a piano second-hand off Gumtree. Dear God, are they expensive. Just over $5K for a small Yamaha. Then almost $1.5K to bring it up to scratch, keys and wires. And another £130 to tune it. Pianos are expensive. Probably ripped off, She gives it up, I might actually cry lol. She's 11 now, has lessons twice a week which also make my bank cry. But TBH, I think she might be the next Mozart, only piano person I can think of. She practices all the time. I have a partner now and he's equally as supportive as me. She always grins at the applause at the end of her shows, fortnightly to monthly. Thanks for all the previous love, supportive comments and pointing in the right direction. Sorry for all the wasted awards. Don't put any on this, it's another throwaway. I am beyond proud of my daughter. She understands why we don't see them anymore. And she seems okay with it. She's brilliant. Thanks again. Mama Bear lol. Edit to add, reread the post and just want to add I did talk to my daughter. Have a multiple times since. My parents were pretty involved in our lives so their absence hit her pretty hard at the start. I explained in kid terms the stuff I went through, what they said and how they were wrong and shouldn't have. How I won't allow it with her. I also apologized for getting angry around her and swearing and she did get upset and said I scared her which made me feel awful. She seems to understand none of it was aimed at her, was for her. She isn't scared of me or anything, was just an in-the-moment thing. I don't shout or swear around her normally. She gets that I love her, I'm in her corner and always will be. Commenter, thanks for the update. I remember being absolutely shocked at the original post. In a weird way your parents do have a point that they raised you right if you were in a position to be such a bad butt standing up for your daughter and tell them to screw right off. They didn't raise you well and obviously they are jerks, but somehow you sure turned out alright. Not a jerk. OP, they didn't raise me this way. I went against their raising to be this way. Only been over the last few years I've seen things and read things about generational trauma. Doubled my strength to prevent it hit my daughter. It's why I regretted the shouting and swearing so much. I'm not who I am because of them, I'm who I am despite them. Commenter 2. The support you give your daughter is wonderful, both in protecting her from your family and in her piano playing. Your dad is wrong, you didn't become this amazing human being because of them, it was in spite of the upbringing they gave you.